There we go. Okay. We are recording a virtual public board meeting, August 6, 2020 for Brentwood-Darlington Neighborhood Association. I'm going to be looking off in the distance a little bit because I have the slideshow up on another screen, so I'm dual computers here, but I will do my best to see y'all. And Maria here is going to help with adminning and admitting folks, and Laura Lee is going to take minutes, so I want to shout out those neighbors and appreciate them. And we're going to go move ahead and we will do introductions, so hang on and we'll get there. Just a quick look at the agenda before we move to that. We have a few additions of last minute information that was given to us or things that were brought to our attention that can't wait till another meeting. So you can grab these, your own copy of this agenda at Public Records, and Maria will put it in the chat here in a little bit, a link to that. All right, so I've heard that folks would really like to do welcomes and know who everybody is here that behind the screen. So we'll start with welcome and introductions, and I can go first. And I have some suggestions up on the screen, and we'll just try to keep it short and move it along. So I'm Chelsea Powers, she, her pronouns. Obviously not my first meeting. I've lived in the neighborhood about 5 years, and I've been on the board just a little bit shorter than that. And I originally heard about the BDNA through a Facebook group and came to a National Night Out event, and the rest is history. So, and I'm the current chair for 2020 and 2021, because we go from June to May. So, all right, I'm gonna pass it along and I'll just shout out the next person I see in my list. So Maria, if you wanna do the next one and then continue on.
Yeah, my name is Maria. This is not quite my first meeting, but maybe my third, so I'm pretty new to all of this too. I don't have any official function in the Brentwood-Darlington Neighborhood Association. I did, however, start with a Facebook group, and I'm helping the Land Use and Transportation Committee a little bit, which is where I'm passionate about. I've been in the neighborhood for about 3 years now. And yeah, I think that's all.
Okay, let's see, next on my list, I see Stephanie. Can you go next?
Sure. My name's Stephanie Frederick, she, her pronouns. This is not my first meeting. It may be about my 50th, possibly. I've lived in the neighborhood for 3 years, or lived in Portland for 3 years. And I learned about the Neighborhood Association when I was living in Fresno, California, and the existence of the system was one of the compelling reasons for me to move here. And so I joined the BDNA even before I had moved into my house on Malden Street. And it's just been a fabulous experience, you know, thanks to all of you, all my colleagues on the BDNA board, and to wonderful residents that I've been meeting. I'm the chair of the Land Use Transportation Committee, and I'm very grateful for Maria's help with Zoom and other matters connected with the committee. And with that committee, we're trying to expand it a bit from what it's been in the past, so that we're covering more than just land use and transportation. There's a ways to go, but I'm learning, and that also is a wonderful experience.
Thank you, Stephanie. I see, Richard, you have your hand raised. Did you want to go next? I'm going to guess that that's Gail. Maria, do you mind renaming Richard to Gail for us? And let's see, I'm going to guess Gail doesn't have the ability to speak with us, so I'll let you know that she is our longest standing board member right now. She does movies in the park, among many, many other things, and is an all-around amazing human. So also I got a text from Shannon. She is driving and not able to speak, but she's my vice chair and runs the Wild Grown Urban Farm and does lots of awesome things too. So quick intros there, and then I'll move on to the next person on my list. Looks like Pam. Pam, do you want to introduce yourself next?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Pam Hodge, she, her pronouns. Certainly not my first meeting. I was born and raised in Brentwood-Darlington and retired and moved back in 2012 to care for an elderly mother. And I heard about BDNA because I was involved with the neighborhood associations in Portland in the 80s. At that time it was Buckman, where I lived. And so after I got reestablished back in Brentwood-Darlington, I thought I would check out the neighborhood association about 5 years ago, and about 3 chairs ago, I think, Chelsea. And I've been on the board, I believe, for 3 years, and am currently the liaison to Southeast Uplift, and I'm particularly concerned about parks development and air quality issues with precision cast parts about 6 blocks from my house. That's about it.
Thank you, Pam. Sorry, I'm trying to help a neighbor via email. Pete Jacobson, you're next on my list here. Do you mind introducing yourself?
Hi, my name is Pete. I was on the board there about 10 or 12 years ago, and we still own the house we lived in there. I'm now in the Woodstock Neighborhood Association, and I'm just joined the board there, and I'm kind of checking in on how board meetings run, so thank you.
We're muddling our way through it, so thanks for joining us, Pete. Next on my list looks like Kim Hill.
It's the unmuting thing. Hi, everyone. My name is Kim Hill. She, her pronouns. The list has disappeared in the grid, which I was playing with, unfortunately. So this is my first board meeting. You'll probably hear my dog in the background. And I can't remember anything else. So please ask me if you have any questions. Excited to meet everyone.
How'd you hear about us, and how long have you been in the neighborhood?
Oh, I heard about you because of curiosity about a land use issue, which I've chatted with Chelsea and Stephanie about. And thank you for your help with that. And we've been in the neighborhood for about 3 years.
Great. Okay, next on my list, let's see, Justin Smith.
Hi, everybody. It's Justin Smith. My wife and I moved to the neighborhood in February of last year. We moved from San Francisco, and so this was our first landing spot in Portland. I actually don't remember how I heard about BDNA. I'm a runner, so I see lots of things, signs and stuff as I run around the city, and so I'm guessing I probably saw a sign or something somewhere, but I don't remember actually. But yeah, this is my first meeting, and I'm looking forward to just learning about the work that this group does and what's going on in my neighborhood. And that's it.
Great, thank you. Let's see, who have I missed here? Did I get everybody? Did I miss anybody?
Laura Lee.
Oh, Laura Lee. I'm so sorry, we were chatting earlier. Laura Lee, will you introduce yourself, please?
I'm Laura Lee, she, her. This is my first meeting on video. I've listened before but wasn't able to speak. I have owned my house in Brentwood-Darlington for about 7 years now, going on 8. And I lived in Woodstock beforehand and Creston Kenilworth before that. I used to work with Portland Parks and Rec as a recreation coordinator. And now I work at a Providence Cancer Center as an admin. So I'm gonna be taking notes tonight. And I heard about the neighborhood association. I've known about it for a long time. I wasn't able to go to the meetings because they were a bit late. 7 to 9 is late for me because I wake up at 4:30 or 5 every morning, but kids are going away to college, so I have a little bit of extra time now.
Welcome. And I thought I saw Lynn come in, but I don't see her now, so she must be having computer problems. Oh, there you are, Lynn.
Can you hear me?
You keep popping in and out of my list.
Okay, all right. Hi, everybody. I'm Lynn Reck, she, her. And this is probably my, I don't know, 24th meeting or so. I've been on the board for a couple of years now. I'm the treasurer. I've lived in the neighborhood since 1993 when we bought our house. And I heard about the BDNA a few years ago through the Community Watch Facebook group page. And I started attending the meetings and then joined the board. That's it.
And Lynn has been an amazing treasurer, and we would be lost without her.
Thank you.
Yes, that's true. Thank you, Lynn.
All right, did I miss anybody else? My list keeps jumping around. All right, everybody ready to keep moving? Let's go. So, as you know, we're going to be continuing to host our meetings on Zoom. It doesn't seem like this is going away anytime soon. So this has changed slightly from the slide that you might have seen last meeting. It now links to our Facebook group. Thank you, Maria. We'll be talking about that later. And that's really the only change, I think. This month, I wanted to do a couple quick slides because I realized that I'm not the only one who's terrible at Zoom or maybe very new to it. And I wanted to do some quick, just each device, a quick little tip. So these are what your screen might look like if you are participating via computer. And you can see the audio and video buttons and how it looks when you're muted versus unmuted. And so you can mute yourself when you're not talking. So, you know, that dog barking in the background only annoys you, or the fan noise that I have from my air conditioner doesn't cover up what somebody else is trying to say. Additionally, you can find the participants, so that tells you who's here, and the chat if you want to see the links that Maria posts. And then the reactions are important because you can participate in different ways using them, especially the raise your hand. So if we're talking about a topic and you want to get a word in, you can hit that little raise your hand button, and we'll be able to see that you want to speak, because everybody's screen can be arranged differently and I might not be able to see everybody's actual faces. So that is how it looks if you're on a computer. I'm gonna move forward to what it looks like for a smartphone.
Chelsea, I have one question.
Oh, yeah.
On the computer, on the raised hands, on my version, which I just downloaded, the raised hands is under the participants, not under reactions.
So it seems like it depends on what browser you're using.
Okay.
And this is the best screenshot I could get.
Okay.
So this is how it looks on my screen.
So I'm on an Apple MacBook. So if anyone else, yeah, maybe it's on participants. I don't know.
Interesting. I'll have to.
No, I'm seeing what Pam sees, which under reactions is just an applause and a thumbs up.
Okay. So your reactions may be under participants under the more button hovering with your name.
Right, that's where you can raise your hand there.
Let's see. If you are on a smartphone, your screen may look like this, and your chat box and your raised hand may be under the 3 dots more menu. The audio and the video will look very similar, and if you get stuck in the participants screen, you can see there at the bottom left, there's that little close button at the top that's not super obvious. So if you can't find your way back to the video part, look for a close button in the top left. Okay. And whenever we say, I'll put that link in the chat is there highlighted kind of on the right there. So you'll want to look there for those links, and we'll also try to include them in the minutes. Okay. If you're on a phone, the important ones you want to know are *6 will mute you. And *9 will raise your hand, and then we will lower your hand on this end because there's not a way to do it from the phone. So, and then a note there that Gail can't see that we'll put links from the group chat in the meeting minutes. Okay, any questions? Just wanted to give you guys some tips so that we are all going to stumble through this a little bit easier.
Thank you, Chelsea.
All right, community announcements. We have some additional things this evening, but we'll try to get through them. Our agenda is never solid. First and foremost, Luke from Learning Garden isn't here. I believe he's out of town, but I'm not 100% on that. But I wanted to highlight again their Harvest Share of the Week, and that is a virtual Eventbrite ticket that you can get, and then you order it between Monday at 5 p.m. to Wednesday at 5 p.m. and then you pick up there at the Learning Garden gates Thursdays 5 to 7. And if you access the slideshow, you can place your order via the Eventbrite link. And then there's also a link in here to an article written by neighbor David Ashton for the Bee newspaper about the Harvest Share program. So, and Maria, if you don't mind throwing those links in the chat, if you can get to them. I don't know if I gave you those ones, my apologies. Any questions on the Harvest Share before I move forward? Okay. Oh, it looks like Gail can see the slides. Yay! All right. Mary sent a garden update. I don't think she's able to attend this evening, so you can read her update there, but I'll go ahead and read it quickly. It says, on July 31st, I was able to tour the Phase 1 construction site. Progress as a whole is very impressive with a newly paved parking lot, concrete pads for the ticket and information kiosk, the layout for the pollinator garden area, the support structure for the terrace, and the aerial tree walk. New paths and stairs are ready for railings and lighting. In other news, the gift shop has had to go online with various prepared packages. The newest is a self-care package. Check the BDNA website or leachgarden.org for more information. And you can also view there at the bottom link to the most recent videos on the upper garden development. The picture is of the aerial tree walk, if I remember correctly. So super excited for this to be all done and open.
Yeah, that looks incredible.
Doesn't it? It inspires me to look forward to what they're gonna do with the walks at Arrow Heights. I know they're not doing this, but like how much this is transformed. So like, I'm looking forward to that too. All right. School updates. We don't have any school representatives here because it's summer, but the highlights are meal services continued through the summer. They run Monday through Thursday at select PPS schools, and there's a link there to where our locations are. In Brentwood-Darlington, our location is Woodmere Elementary, which is on Duke Street between 78th and 80th. Also, if you have not heard, PPS announced that classes will be entirely online until at least November 5th, and they have details of kind of the very beginnings of that highlighted at that link below. Okay. Also, we had discussed renaming Lane and Whitman in previous meetings because of the racist histories of the people they are named after. And PPS actually is presenting a plan to re-examine the name of all the district buildings and spaces. So there's a link to that there. And I would really like if a board member or a community member would like to champion this project. I don't have the bandwidth to be the driving force on it, but it is important. So if anyone wants to volunteer, you can let us know or hit us up later. But that's interesting and important news, and I don't think we'll have to push very hard, but it's something to track so we can support the changes when they come to us. Any questions on the school announcements? I know I'm moving a little fast.
Hey, Chelsea, I just had one really quick. thing that I don't know who did it, but somebody built a traffic garden at both Whitman and Woodmere, which is basically like on the pavement where the kids can ride their scooters or their bikes and learn how to like stop at a stop sign and traffic stuff. And it's really fun. So if anybody has kids that are, you know, that age and want to go out there, we took our daughter and it's really cool.
I totally forgot about that. They have videos of each of them as well.
And what is it again?
They're called a traffic garden, and it's painting on the asphalt at the schools, at the elementary schools, that teaches kids traffic safety and road rules and gives them like an interesting course to ride their bikes and scooters and trikes around.
Thank you.
So, and I will, Laura Lee, if you remind me, I will get you the links to those videos. I know where they are, I just can't grab them right now. Okay. Thanks for the reminder on that, Shannon. A neighbor wanted to attend but couldn't. They're camping and don't have access to fast enough internet, but they wanted to reach out about opportunities at transition projects. As many of you know, the Laurelwood Shelter in Foster Powell opened and has been doing really well, and BDNA was one of the community members groups that was included in the in figuring it out. I'm sorry, words are failing me of what the group was called, but we were one of the neighborhood associations that got to participate in the planning for it, and it's turned out really nice and to be a community asset. And there's some ways that neighbors can give back, and this neighbor here in the neighborhood wanted us to know about these. They're also going to be letting us know about a coat drive coming soon, so kind of start digging in those closets now as you're cleaning them and get ready. They also wanted to emphasize that you can join their potluck dinner program. I know that several of our neighbors and board members are members of Woodstock Cooks, and other enjoy cooking in general. So this is a way you can marry that love of cooking with some community outreach if you're interested. And I don't have any more information than this slide, but I'm gonna stop talking for about a minute and let everybody have a chance to look at it. Oops. Sorry. All right, does anyone need more time? Okay, I saw that Derek snuck in on us. Derek, we did some introductions earlier. Do you mind introducing yourself, how long you've been in the neighborhood, just real brief?
Sure, I'm Derek Covey. I'm a board member at large. I moved into the neighborhood in 2012. And what else can I say? You caught me.
You do our new neighbor outreach with brochures and inserts and volunteer at events when we have them.
That's correct. And I was just curious, since I'm have a chance to talk here. I did put, we had a large number of people that came into the neighborhood in the last month or so. I sent out, I believe, 2 sheets, which is 30 each. So 60 of those newsletters came out. And Chelsea, I was able to get them in the mail the following day with the inserts.
Awesome.
And I used all the inserts, of course. And actually, I went through all the magnets. And I still
found another stash. I got some for you.
Okay, good. But 60 went out. I'm curious, is there anyone out there that received that a couple of days ago that's here now?
Is anyone here that got a brochure in the mail from the neighborhood association? No.
Okay. Well, maybe
we'll get them next month.
There you go. But yeah, 60 went out. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's a lot of new neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
I also saw another new name pop up, Kelly Hunter. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, that's us. I'm Kelly. This is my
Hi.
husband, Mark. Hi. We've been in the neighborhood since August 2015, so exactly 5 years now. And we're community members trying to get more involved, and the Zoom meetings make it a lot easier with bedtime and dinner time and everything.
Awesome. Welcome. We're glad. So is this your first meeting?
This is our first meeting, yeah.
All right. Yay. Welcome.
Thank you. And I know Stephanie, I mean, in passing, we met in my alley.
Hi, Kelly. Yes, I was just going to say that we met when I came by to visit her fabulous garden that
Yeah.
she's cultivating along Cooper Street, just outside her fence, and got me very excited about the idea of using the edges of our gravel roads for food production. When I look at her garden, oh my God, it's just incredible. And now she has a neighbor imitating her, right? Across the way.
We do, yes. And we've also discovered that there are hazards of gardening where we are. We, in the past, 2 weeks, have had 2 separate instances of people running their cars into our garden.
No.
Like on purpose?
What was that?
On purpose?
Well, one of them was definitely on accident. And the other one happened, we don't know anything about that one, but we saw the tire marks in the gravel and the damage that was done.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Bummer. We'll have to maybe brainstorm how we can protect your garden.
Yeah, we're thinking we need to put more urbanite out along the edge of it.
We're on it.
Yeah.
I'd love to get in touch with you before you leave, Kelly. We're doing a gorgeous gardens series on our website, and I'd love to come to grab some pictures from you of yours.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Do you mind dropping your email to me in the chat before you go?
Not at all.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going. Sorry, we get off track with gardens really easily here. Let's see. And I'm running 2 computers, so my apologies, I'm a little scattered. All right, I want to bring up before we get out of community announcements, some food pantry resources. We have 2 here in BD and then 1 just outside in Woodstock. So on Wednesdays, it is your lucky day. You can go to the community center, Brentwood-Darlington Community Center on Southeast 62nd there, and see Mackenzie pictured there with a photo from David Ashton, and see her for some great produce and pantry goods that they're offering. And there's an article there from the Bee about that. And then Unofficial Pop-Up Pantry happens after that from 4:30 to 6:30-ish. Usually it runs a little earlier or later, depending on how fast we get set up. And that is leftovers from the Impact Pantry, free bread from Grand Central, and whatever we can purchase from Rhinella's and source from neighbors' gardens and pantries. So that's a fun one to contribute to if you want to. And if you need something, definitely come on by. And the Woodstock Pantry, if you can't make it on a Wednesday, they have a pantry Friday and Saturday at All Saints Episcopal, I cannot say that word, at All Saints Church on Woodstock Boulevard. So if you're hungry, or if you know somebody who's hungry, even if you don't feel like you might need it, like, you don't have to be super in need to take advantage of these resources and keep yourselves and your families well fed and safe. So if you need it, come get it. And if you can contribute, let us know and we'll tell you how. Any questions on the food pantries? Okay. Some sad news. We had a family in our neighborhood that lost their house to a fire recently. Everybody's okay, the animals are okay, but their house is a total loss. There is a GoFundMe there that their neighbor set up, and you can donate. BDNA sent them a $100 Amazon gift card. We got a hold of the family, and they said that's the thing they said would be the most helpful. So Lynn, we could probably pull that from our COVID relief funds that we already approved as an emergency relief. But
okay, I'll do that.
Thank you. Any questions on that?
Where is the house?
Pardon?
Where is their house?
I do not know the cross streets. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, don't be sorry. It's okay. I was just curious.
I know it's between Ogden and Duke, I believe.
Thank you,
I think
Jen.
it's like 67th or 67th or 68th, maybe.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you can contribute, the link is in the chat. Thank you, Maria. Another last minute community announcement is that Cartlandia is having a second cleanup. They just hosted one on the 4th. They're having another on the 12th with Solve and Portland Parks and Recreation. And it's a litter patrol on the Springwater Corridor. And you can see the link to RSVP on Solve there and the details. And Maria has put the link in the chat. Thank you. If you have questions, you're gonna have to go check their links because this is all I have. Okay, we are moving through our agenda. So before I move on to this, I wanna check if there are any other community announcements that I missed. Awesome, okay. I wanted to go over, if you weren't at our committee's meeting, we elected our officers and we unanimously added Derek back to the board. He was a little late to the election meeting, so by unanimous vote at our committee's meeting, we added him to the board. Welcome back, Derek.
Great, thank you.
You can see there either our officer positions, if we have one, or if we have a specialty or a committee that we do, or representation. So really quickly, Gail does movies in the park. Pam is our Southeast Uplift representative. Stephanie is our land use and transportation chair. Tina, who I haven't seen quite yet, is in charge of our community collection events. And Lynn's the treasurer. Derek does new neighbor outreach. Shannon's the vice chair, and I'm Chelsea, I'm the chair. And I see Kelly here asking about the secretary duties. And I can post the bylaws to you to give you the official ones. And I know Laura Lee has been researching those, or reading up on those as well in preparation for taking the minutes. So, but really it's taking the minutes, helping maintain the records, and submitting them to Southeast Uplift so that we stay within our guidelines for public records. Laura Lee, do you want to add anything to that from what you've been reading? Okay, I don't hear.
Can you guys
Laura.
hear me?
Oh, there you are. I think.
Yeah, so, you know, here's the thing. I clicked on, the chat was going, and I clicked on one of the links in chat, and it took me to that link, and I can't get back now. Does anybody know how to get back to the Zoom page?
Are you on a computer or a smartphone?
I'm on a Mac computer.
Try doing Alt Command Tab. And that should give you different choices of apps there on your screen that you can tab to. Do you see it?
Hooray. That worked.
You can also do
for like the past 5 minutes, I've been trying to get you guys back.
If you have gestures on, you can also do the one where you swipe between screens back and forth, the 3 or 4 fingers. And because what it is you probably have it all like full screened. And so if you go off of that, it makes it a whole nother desktop.
Yeah, okay.
So.
Well, now you guys are back, so that's great.
Did you have anything to add on my summary of secretarial duties?
No, I've been looking at, I can go ahead and make a summary based on what Southeast Uplift has written out. It's pretty much taking the minutes and sending the minutes to Southeast Uplift, and also any other documents that they need to keep on file. I'm still a little unclear about all of the duties, but I know that taking minutes is definitely a big portion of it. And I'm more than happy to, obviously I'm struggling a little bit here, losing you and still trying to take notes. But yeah, I'll get together a better summary if you'd like. I wouldn't mind being secretary also, if that's something you guys want to toss around a little bit as well.
I think we would be happy to have you. And if we have more than one neighbor interested in secretary duties, I know that other neighborhood associations have done co-positions in the past. So like, you know, if two people wanted to be the chair, they can be co-chairs if their bylaws allow that, or share the duties. So I just want to make sure that people know we're not excluding. If there's more than one interested, I know that we can keep everybody busy.
Yeah.
So, and board members, do you want to weigh in?
I think that's a great idea, Chelsea.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we didn't have a secretary this last year. And what we did was board members took turns taking the minutes. So if there's more than one neighbor interested in doing that role, would be simple to go on and off.
And I had offered to make a minutes template, and I will still do that. I'm sorry I haven't done it yet, Laura Lee. But
actually, Laura Lee already did it.
Yeah, I'm working through my template that I made and seeing where I have made errors and I need to correct. And but I did make a template, and it's pretty simple template. And then also you can bring in the agenda for the upcoming meeting and kind of just like put it in there and kind of take notes from there. So it's very simple. It seems to be working okay.
Bless you. Thank you.
Speaking of that, the Secretarial Summary, Laura Lee already kind of talked about it, but to make taking minutes easier, we are trying to do more of a template so that any neighbor can step into the role without feeling overwhelmed. And just a note on what it means to turn in information to Southeast Uplift, you make sure they have the link to the Google Drive that's current. So that's about the gist of turning in our board records. As long as it's in the Google Drive, you send the link to Southeast Uplift and they download it from there. I want to make a note, board members, I have an assignment for you. I'm sorry. If you took minutes in the 2019-20 fiscal year and we have not yet approved them, you can contact Laura Lee for the template, and you can transcribe your minutes and have them ready for approval next month. I'm hoping that you will all have them ready to review by August 27th, which is a week before our board meeting, and that way they can go through board members to review for accuracy, and then we can post them and vote to approve or not next month. Can everybody do that who took notes last year?
Yes.
Okay. If you're not sure what months are missing, I can point you to the correct, the correct folder on the drive. And Stephanie, on that note, Stephanie sent out minutes for July 2020. Who all read them?
I just sent them to you, Chelsea.
Or, sorry, Stephanie, did you only send them to me? Oh my goodness, I didn't forward them. Okay, so we'll have all of our minutes to approve next month. And I want to reiterate my thank you to Laura Lee for the template and for volunteering to take minutes during this meeting. It's incredibly helpful and we really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right. Let's go ahead and keep going. I want to turn this over to Maria for a minute to talk about our Facebook group.
Yeah. So I just checked right before our meeting, and we have now 65 members. And if you are not part of the Facebook group, consider joining us. Yeah, it was very interesting to see. You know, we have those initial questions of, well, what are your cross streets to make sure that this is truly a neighborhood group, right? And then also, why do you want to join that group? And I want to say about a 50-50 split between people that said they wanted to mainly just be in the loop and be informed about what's going on in the neighborhood. And the other half, I would say, was saying they wanted to be more involved and they wanted to help the neighborhood and really be more an active participant of the community. So I think that's great news, right, for everybody who is here tonight and obviously involved. So yeah, that was really interesting. Other than that, so far, you know, ideally I was hoping what we could create with this group is rather than just passing down information, right, from like the city of Portland, this is a project happening in your neighborhood, to maybe get the voices of community members more heard and organized and channeled in a way where we can bring, as a community, our issues and topics to the city of Portland. So this is not happening yet. And I'm not sure, it probably takes some time, and there's not a whole lot of involvement. I think I'm the only one posting there and like, hey, there's this and that meeting, but I'm, you know, that's fine too, and it's a pretty new thing, so I'm not too worried about it just yet. But I am, however, very open for any ideas you guys have about how to, you know, foster engagement. And yeah, so far for me personally, I thought, well, I'm a very visual learner and I'm new to the whole neighborhood association and local politics and how this all works. I'm just going to do a simple flow chart for me to figure things out. And yeah, little did I know. So it's not a simple flow chart to try to understand how politics work in Portland. So I'm still working on that. But yeah, I want to say that's where I'm at right now with that group. And I'm encouraging you to post things or to open conversations to see if people want to, you know, talk about topics. And you can also just message me or let me know if you have any ideas of how to encourage that. I'm also going to post the link in the chat. And I think that's all I got, unless you have questions or concerns or criticism. Yeah.
Any questions for Maria on the Facebook group?
No, but thank you. And I will go and join it and
Yeah.
think of some things to post. I have one thing I'd like to post.
Please
So
do.
thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, Maria.
I have a
And,
question.
we can try posting them in the different neighborhood groups again too, and kind of keep people aware that it's happening. And you can see the link there on the slideshow, and Maria will put it in the chat. And so you can join right away. And I'm amazed by how many people we have at the meeting this month. I really appreciate everybody who's joined. And I think I saw Tina's name pop up, so I want to check and see if I saw that. Are you here, Tina?
I'm here. I'm just like hanging out listening.
Do you mind doing, we did introductions this evening. Do you mind doing just name and pronouns, how long you've been in the neighborhood, and anything else you want to say real quick?
Sure. Tina Bjornstead Shafransky, she, her. I've been in the neighborhood off and on since 1999. Something like that. Anyways. And I chair the community collections stuff, which we'll be talking about later tonight.
And you also help with our neighborhood emergency preparedness team.
But that, I mean, really, I'm really tired, just so you know. Names are hard for me anyways. But that's kind of been taken over, and it's at least moving forward, it seems. So I've been getting updates, but I don't have them handy right this second.
That's okay. Let's plan next month to, I think it was Stephanie who suggested adding a net update to our agenda. So if you're willing to give us a 2-minute update every month or more, I'll give you some time on the agenda next month.
Sounds good.
Cool. Okay, I'll add that to my notes, and I'm gonna continue forward.
Okay, really quick, Chelsea. I think I heard somebody say that they had a question about the Facebook group. So I just wanted to see if there was somebody.
Did somebody have a question about the Facebook group?
Yeah, that was Laura Lee.
Oh, sorry, Laura Lee, go ahead.
No worries. I was curious, Maria. I joined the Facebook group. when people post, does it go through you first before it appears on the page, or do the members just post freely?
They post freely, yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right. I'm excited to see that group take off. All right, as we go into committee updates, I just want to give you a quick list of our committees. We have, of course, our Land Use and Transportation, which meets the second Thursday, and that's going to be starting up again virtually, and I'll have that information later in the meeting. Thank you to Maria and Stephanie for getting that going again. All the other committees meet on the third Tuesday, and we've updated that time to 5 to 7 p.m. because we've gotten feedback that 7 to 9 is very late, which we know, and I agree. But you can see we have equity and inclusion, parks and schools, events and outreach, and emergency preparedness and sustainability, which are kind of our subcommittees there. And we're still going to be on Zoom, so it'll be a lot easier to attend if you can't leave your house. You can find all that stuff on our newsletter, our website, the Facebook group, all those places. And let me keep going. Any questions on committees? Don't have to be a board member to participate. You can just show up and join the conversation. They're a little less structured than these and more of a conversation. All right, Stephanie, I'm going to take a break from talking and let you take over with land use and transportation. I tried to list some of the topics you wanted to highlight there, so go ahead.
Thank you very much, Chelsea. I just started and I realized I was muted. Hi, everybody. I have several items to present. But first, I'd like to bring up a brand new matter, which is preserving full-grown trees on private property where demolitions and construction are slated to occur. As you know, we've been expanding the reach of the Land Use Committee to include, in addition to land use and transportation, park renovation and maintenance, air quality, and the climate crisis, but we haven't had tree preservation there. But now it's going to be there, and that's thanks to a neighbor new to us, who is Kim Hill, and she's with us tonight. Kim, would you like to lay out the question you raised with us after numerous attempts to contact us about the Henderson Street property?
Let's see. It looks like I'm unmuted now. The concerns that I had for this property are that there are many fruiting trees on the property, so many that I had wondered what was going to happen to them. Normally I'm seeing houses or demolition of homes, and the new homes are built to the edges. And with this particular property having so many trees, and having spoken with the nice lady Leah at Southeast Uplift, and her saying that some of the city rules were changing as far as size of trees, and that you know, it was potentially worth a look to see what could happen to these trees. And I've reached out to my community, and it sounds like it's not necessarily a viable option for this particular property, but certainly given the timing of when the demolition is happening for other properties, lining up folks who are interested in fruiting trees for their properties, it might be a good match to work with developers and try and move the trees, or ask them to maybe change their design strategy to have a smaller footprint house, or take into consideration smaller trees. So I think it was 36 inches for trees, and now it's down to 12 inches. Unfortunately, at 54th and Henderson, Stephanie, you shared this, and thank you for all of your work looking into this. It looks like the trees on this property are not going to be saved, but I'm fascinated by this project and, you know, potentially ways to save trees or ground, all of those fun things. I hope that is enough detail.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much, Kim.
Thank you.
I appreciated the opportunity to be given the impetus to learn something about protecting or preserving trees here in Portland. And I don't know a lot yet, but I will learn more, and we will add this to the Land Use Committee agenda. I love the idea of becoming activist about it. We are losing land to crowded, to dense development, and the developers really are filling up every lot to the max. And I see this everywhere where I'm walking around, which means we're losing trees. And so we need to see what we can do about supporting that. About changing, preserving trees. Also, I can look into the proposed changes to the tree preservation code. I think it's open for a comment period at this time, but again, it's something I have to learn and read, and you could as well, and others who are interested in getting the tree preservation code, city code, changed for the better, so we're saving more trees. This sounds like a wonderful thing to post at the Facebook group too. And invite people to join you and us at the Land Use Committee in becoming active on behalf of trees in our neighborhoods. Now, I did go over to the property, and you can't see a whole lot. I didn't go to the fence and peer in, but I could see that there are trees in the backyard. But again, they did not look like they had big 12-inch or larger trunks on them. And when I reached out to the developers, and they said they knew the city code, but one of them, I guess, ran over and photographed the trees on the property. So they have their defense already in place. They responded right away, because I said if we didn't hear from them, we might consider appealing the demolition permit. And so they responded within hours, I mean, very fast. And I agree with Kim that I don't think we have any leverage on this particular property, but it's been a great springboard to raising our consciousness and impelling us towards more knowledge and possibly being able to affect future city code and getting other people motivated, excited about preserving trees. So I'm just delighted so much that you raised this with us, and that you kept persevering until you finally broke through and made connection with us. And Chelsea and I are looking at how to keep the barriers to connecting with us from happening again. And we will raise the issue at ACL that, that their links, one of them leads to what was that, a 404 error or something, that, no information does not lead to connecting with us. But we also are going to work harder at making sure we stay on top of our email connections at our various email addresses. So I'm very sorry about what you went through, but I'm so glad you kept going and did reach us. And so you've made caused a change for the Transportation Land Use Committee, and we'll just go forward from here. So thank you again, Kim. Now, the other things I need to talk about, first of all, I sent out a letter about the Albina Vision Trust and the problems with the ODOT's plan to widen the I-5 through the Rose Quarter. I'll just read you quickly what the situation is. ODOT's plan. Okay, hold on again. I have something.
Oh, I put the draft of your letter up, Stephanie. So when
no,
you
I know, but I have some. All of a sudden, my mail program has inserted itself on the page, and there's no way to get rid of it.
Use Command Tab, see if you can get back.
Nope, that doesn't work. It showed up by itself. And so, oh, now it's at last given. Okay, thank you. That worked. Okay. Okay, so ODOT's plan to improve I-5 traffic flow through the Rose Quarter fails to right historic wrongs as promised, according to officials of the Albina Vision Trust, City of Portland, and Multnomah County, who have resigned in protest from an executive steering committee associated with the project. When I-5 was built through Portland in the 1950s, it was a large factor, along with gentrification and urban renewal, in destroying a thriving Black community in the Rose Quarter. Albina Vision Trust has proposed a sweeping vision of freeway covers and public spaces that would help to compensate for what was destroyed. So I urge you to visit Albina Vision's beautiful website, which is albinavisioninc.com. Is absolutely gorgeous what they have in mind. And so we want to support them and not ODOT, and we want to support Mayor Wheeler, Jessica Vega Peterson, and the Albina Vision Trust, who all resigned from this executive steering committee in protest that ODOT was just carrying on with business as usual. So I sent out a letter of support to you. I could read it quickly. It's to the chair of the board of directors of Albina Vision Trust and to the director of ODOT. So dear Ms. Adams and Mr. Strickler, the Brentwood-Darlington Neighborhood Association supports Albina Vision Trust's stunning vision for the Rose Quarter. We join Albina Vision Trust, City of Portland, and Multnomah County officials in requesting that the Oregon Department of Transportation make this vision possible by foregoing a business as usual freeway construction. Instead, we ask that ODOT invest public dollars in sturdy freeway covers and other infrastructure requested by Albina Vision Trust. Excuse me. This investment will help to restore vitality and beauty to a neighborhood once home to a thriving working class Black population, and show that freeways can build community instead of destroying it. So I would like to move that we send this letter to the two parties named. And so I am making a motion that the board approve this letter, and I solicit a second, but also I would like to know what people think of this letter. We don't need to vote on a motion yet.
Okay, we have a motion on the table. I see a second from Tina, and I'm going to open it up for discussion. Do we have any discussion before we vote on this? All right, I'll go through the board members. The motion on the table is to support the letter or to approve the letter of support for the Albina Vision Trust as written. And I'm going to go through board members roll call. I see Gail in the chat has said aye. And I say aye. And let me just go through my list here. Stephanie.
Aye.
Derek.
Aye.
Pam.
Aye.
Lynn.
Aye.
Tina.
Aye.
All right, motion passes unanimously.
Bye.
Oh, and Shannon, there you are. You went to talk and you jumped in my list. There we go.
Sorry.
All right, so Shannon is aye. Did I miss anybody? All right, motion passes unanimously. Letter is approved.
Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. I'll get this printed out and run over to Chelsea's and have her sign it, and we'll send this out.
And you can see in the chat, if you are able to access that, Maria has posted the link to Albina Vision, and you can read more about their project there.
Oh yeah, just definitely recommend going to their website. It's beautifully done. And their drawings or renderings of what they have in mind are so exciting. I just can't recommend it highly enough. And, okay, so the next order of business has to do with speeding vehicles on Flaval Drive. Not Flavel Street, but the drive. So we have a resident who lives on the street, and then others who have long been concerned about the worsening vehicle speeds on Flaval Drive. And so in response to her inquiries, we have done a couple of things. We've bought a radar speed gun, and we have some volunteers. I'm one of them, and Chelsea has volunteered, and Ryan Ernst on our committee. We're going to track some speeds on Flaval Drive with a radar gun. And then I'm gonna, and also the original inquirer, Kristen Parker, has a speed gun, and she's already recording speeds now. So I'm gonna compile that information and start communicating it to the city and saying, this is a 25-mile-an-hour zone, and we're seeing 38, 40, 42, 50, and it's not okay, and we need to do something. This Kristen reached out to Scott Cohen about it, and he wrote to her and said, one of the best things to do is to get the BDNA board to support placing speed bumps on Flaval Drive. And it appears that the fire department approves of a certain kind of speed bump. Flaval Drive is a secondary emergency route that fire engines use, but the fire department will put up with certain kinds of a certain kind of speed bumps. So I think this is one thing we should request of the city. And then second, I would like to request that the city establish a flashing beacon crossing at Flaval Park. I mean, not Flaval Park, at Hazeltine Park, because it is sometimes very difficult, often very difficult to cross and get over into the park because traffic doesn't like to stop, and it's going really fast. So so anyway, to go back to the speed bumps for a moment, Scott recommends our taking a position on this and communicating that to the city that we want this. He then says, of course, the problem is they don't have any money for speed bumps, but you never know. I mean, we can try to find money, or we are going to have a big planning process starting up in the fall, and we can work with those project managers to see if we can't find some money for putting in speed bumps. So we'll just, I think the best thing to do is to just continually push it with the city that we are unhappy with Flaval Drive. And so we'll just keep supplying speed data and keep bringing up the flashing beacon and keep harping on the speed bumps, and eventually something will happen because they'll get tired of hearing from us about it. So that's my proposed action. I would like to make a motion that we officially adopt a position on installing these speed bumps. I would say between that Clatsop-Harney intersection with Flaval Drive and all the way to 52nd, we could use at least 3. But of course, we could leave it up to the planners, but I think we can say we would like to have at least 3 plus a flashing beacon crossing. And so anyway, I mean, I move that as a statement that I would love to see seconded, and that we would adopt as a board.
All right, there's a motion on the table to support speed bumps, flashing crossings, and other safety installations on Flaval Drive between Clatsop and 52nd. And I see Pam has seconded in the comments. I'm going to open it up to discussion before we vote. Any discussion?
Well, I'm just so excited about this, Stephanie, that the city might be open to speed bumps on Flaval Drive. I live, on Harney Drive, one street over, and it's a huge problem, and it's a beautiful street, and it could be so much better without speeders. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's my pleasure. Okay.
Is there anyone here in the meeting that's not in support of speed bumps on Flaval Drive? All right, we can go ahead and vote then. Let's see. Oh, Gail says Malcolm's not in support of speed bumps. Well, I guess he can argue with us. All right, so motion on the table to support speed bumps and other traffic calming on Flaval Drive, and seconded by Pam. Board members, I'll do roll call for votes. I'm an aye, and I see Shannon in the chat is aye. Stephanie?
Aye.
Derek?
Aye.
Pam?
Aye.
See, I see Tina in the chat is an aye. Gail is an aye. Lynn?
Aye.
And Pam?
She already said, yeah.
Aye again.
Sorry.
Double aye. Do I get to
When
vote
people
twice?
talk, my list
I'll take two
going on.
ayes.
Okay.
That's fine.
Did I miss any board members? All right. Motion passes unanimously to support speed bumps and traffic calming on Flaval Drive.
Yeah, can I ask a question?
Go ahead, Maria.
So if somebody, just for me newbie here, somebody presents a motion, a board member, are they always passed unanimously, or how many ayes do you need to pass a motion? And what happens next if it is not passed, if you wouldn't mind?
I'd have to double check with my bylaws, but I believe we have to have a majority vote.
Okay.
They do not have to be all unanimously, except for adding new board members outside of elections, if I remember correctly, but we can double check on the bylaws there.
Cool,
We don't often have contentious issues. And Gail says, because Gail's been doing this a lot longer than I have, she says that if it doesn't pass, we negotiate till there's a consensus.
Okay, and in order to pass it, it just needs to be majority, Gail?
As far as I know, is that correct, Gail? Majority vote? Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate Gail's knowledge on this because the bylaws are tricky.
Yeah.
So, and we'll actually be talking about the bylaws later in the meeting. So if those are your things, stay tuned. The teaser. All right. Anything else for land use and transportation, Stephanie?
One final item.
Go
This
ahead.
has to do with parks. The parks budget has been in terrible shape for years. It's based entirely on fees that it derives from programs, the programs that it presents every year. And of course, now with COVID, there are no programs, so there is no money coming in. And so the city council has turned its attention to trying to keep the Parks Department to help it survive. And so Mayor Wheeler has proposed what he calls an operating levy for parks and recreation. This would be placed on the November ballot for approval by voters of Portland. Essentially, it's a property tax that would last for 5 years. It would cost the average household $11 per month. For low-income people, though, they would have their park fees waived, and many low-income people are not homeowners. I don't know whether they would get their rent raised by $11, or it would probably be less. That's the average. But I feel that the council has made sure that there's not going to be an harm done to low-income people in Portland who certainly benefit from our parks, but they would have their fees waived, and that might allow for even more participation than they've been able to accomplish in the past. So let me just read a brief statement from Mayor Wheeler, and then I want to propose that we educate our residents with the pros and the cons of this levy. I'm for it, but we can't just say, oh, we support something that is going to cost our residents money, but we can at least tell them about this and explain the benefits and any downsides that we know of. But so let me read Mayor Wheeler's statement. He said, with additional funding from a temporary levy, we would center equity in the delivery of our programs and services, restart recreation to open pools, community centers, classes, and camps for summer 2021, and end our dependence on fees so that cost is no longer a barrier to community members. We would improve access for all Portlanders by making our parks cleaner, safer, and more welcoming. We would grow nature by restoring natural areas, planting more trees, and taking better care of trees in our neighborhood parks. I'm very delighted to see that they're not talking about adding any more parks, because that is a road we shouldn't go down right now. Our present parks are desperate for maintenance, and we don't need to add any more park space right now. So I would like to make a motion that we educate our residents about this operating levy, the pros and the cons. And I can write up stuff for text, for Chelsea to post at our website, and we can post on our Facebook page and the Facebook group, and maybe in next door. I'll talk with Chelsea about a best way to communicate this. But I don't want to do this without the approval of the board. And again, we're not going to push, our position is not going to say you should vote for this. Our position will be that these are the benefits, these are the downsides. And the idea is to be neutral, but with an underlying theme of joy and happiness, right? For trees and parks, that it'll be clear that we don't oppose it. But again, it would be something where we are educating people about this important.
So I think we only have to vote on it if we're taking an official stance on it. If we are just providing education to our neighbors on the pros and cons of it, it's really more of a community service.
Oh, fine. Okay.
But if we wanted to write a letter in, official support or not support of it, then we would need to vote. But if it's just Land Use and Transportation Committee would like to take on this educational project to make sure that neighbors are very clear on this levy and what it means financially and how it would support the city and how it would affect them. I honestly think that's just part of what we're supposed to do. If we're not trying to influence people either way and we're not taking an official stance, it's just educating the community.
Okay, fine. That sounds good. All right.
Am I wrong on that anywhere? Maria, you said we're going to say something?
Yeah, I was just, I happened to see the city council meeting where they talked about this proposition, and it's I don't know if you've seen it, Stephanie, or not, but it's worth watching. Especially Commissioner Hardesty actually brought up some pretty valid points that I did not consider. So I don't know if we want to inform them. I think there's a lot of good information and some good points to just consider in the city council meeting where this is discussed. I think it was not this week, but the week before. So yeah, that was.
Okay, thank you.
And what sorts of informative post on that with the video links to the city council meeting and all the information in one place that we could post on our website, social media, Facebook, etc., would be, I think, really helpful. We could point neighbors to and say, here's all the information, make your own informed choices.
Okay, so Maria, do you remember what day that is? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, let me just check my calendar. What was not this Wednesday, but.
Maria, do you mind sending that to Stephanie and we'll post the link with the minutes and everything?
Stephanie, I'll send you that in the chat just a second.
Thank you. I just want to make sure that I'm being respectful of everybody's time, but I think we're moving along pretty good. So, and Shannon noted that this would be a great topic of discussion in the BDNA Facebook group, which I think would be also great. And looks like board's on board with this, no pun intended. Community members, anybody else want to weigh in? You are absolutely welcome to raise your hand or chime in.
Can I raise my real hand? This is Laura Lee.
It depends on where the screen is, if we can see you or not.
I can't find the hand on my, anyway, well, I'll look for that later. When you say all the links are in the chat and they're going to be in the minutes, am I going to have access to that chat as it's rolling? Because they're going, you know, it's kind of, I'm having a hard time keeping up with
I
typing
made a
out
list
links.
ahead of time of most of them, and almost all the links we talk about are in the slideshow. So I'll go through that with you if you are missing any.
Okay.
So at
But I
some,
sent a long list to Maria of most of them, so we at least have most of them already.
Okay.
so I was in one Zoom meeting where it was possible to save the chat as a download to one's download list, but I don't see that.
I think the host can do it at the end.
Maybe I will, if I can download
Right.
the chat at the end, I will. I'm still new to Zoom and only use it about twice a month, so thanks everybody for bearing with me. And if Maria, if you know how to do that, I would.
At the end, yeah. I think that's-
Oh, when I do the end meeting and recording stuff.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
That's where you have an option.
we'll do our best,
Okay,
Lauralee.
okay, thanks.
Okay. And I also
You have a
wanted
list
to-
of like 90% of them already.
Okay. And I wanted to chime in on the speed bumps. For Stephanie, when I lived in Creston, Kenilworth, we had speed bumps put on 42nd Avenue, which was also a throwaway for the ambulance emergency vehicles. It was a little bit of a tough road to get it done. It took us about a year or two. And there are ways I can talk to you about it. We ended up getting signatures from everybody on the street. We had to raise money. It was quite a long road, but we got them. They're there. So it is doable, but but I can talk to you about that later.
Oh, fabulous. Thank you very much, Lauralee. Thank you so much. Okay.
Awesome. Okay, let's see. Oh, it looks like Kim is signing off and Kelly had to go earlier. I want to thank both of you for joining. Oh, I want to get to, before we leave land use and transportation, I went ahead and put Stephanie and Maria have gotten virtual land use and transportation meetings scheduled, and the links both in the chat and they're on the slide. And a reminder for those who may not have joined when before I did the announcement, these records are available on our website under the About and then Public Records menu. If you go to Brentwood-Darlington.org, click on About, click on Public Records, you'll see a meeting slides link, and that's where you can find all of these slideshows. Anything else for land use and transportation, Stephanie?
No, that's it for tonight. Thanks, everyone.
Excellent. Okay, looks like it's time for our treasurer's report. Lynn, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So not a lot going on. We just have the usual COVID-19 support, outgoing support for the neighborhood. I also paid we prepaid the Zoom fee for the year, so it dropped it down to a monthly price of $8.95 instead of the $14.99. So we're basically ending at $8,995. And I also wanted to talk just a little bit about, we need to think about using the communications fund balance. We have $466, and we have until the end of September. Wait, I think it's end of September before we use it. So we should think about, I think Tina might be using it for signs maybe.
Well, we'll have Tina weigh in for that, but we can maybe do some more magnets if we need last minute, because I have a small chunk, but I know Derek's out of them, so that's
And I could use some more stamps. Yeah.
And I think we could use some more of those business cards. I only took 24, but that was our only box of business cards, right?
Yeah, it is. Those have been the business cards since before I became chair. So we've been, it's been slow going on that box. Okay, so Tina, do you want to talk about signs? Are you going to need some money there for signs?
Okay, so I don't need money for signs because If we go ahead with the cleanup, which I have major concerns about, where, you know, Portland's on the watch list, and with Umatilla County getting back to stay-at-home orders, I'm not terribly sure that we're not going to. So I was actually going to say, unless somebody has a strong calling saying we have to do the collection event in September and a plan of action to make it viable if we close, before we start spending the money on an event that ends up having to be canceled, I'm really on that verge of saying we need to call it. At which point, even if we, you know, if we did do it and didn't call it, we don't need the money for the signs. We'd need it for advertising, but that's it. But with COVID numbers and the way that the state is in teetering edge and we're in the watch list, I mean, this is big numbers here. I don't really believe that we can safely say that we can guarantee we can do this collection event. I think we need to cancel it.
Okay, let's put that, go ahead, Lynn, sorry.
I was going to say, I agree. I think that we should just, you know, put that aside for next year.
All right, so let's put a pin in the cleanup real fast. I want to make sure we finish the treasure report, and then we'll do a vote and discussion on the cleanup. Sound good? Okay. I see Tina nodding. So before we move on from treasurer, let's make sure we have a plan and a vote for spending our money, because if we wait till next month, we're going to be doing our every year last minute shuffle to get to those dollars.
The scramble.
So I'd like to suggest that we vote to spend the money on magnets, stamps, and business cards in whatever amount will use up the rest of our funds. Okay. I believe you said we had a
466.
Oh, there it is, 466.51. And so, Derek, could you price out magnets again for us? And I think they might have done our business cards as well.
Sure, I could. Well, yeah, the magnets is, would the business card look like our magnets, or is it something separate?
It's not actually as good as our magnets, so maybe we could just have them do both magnets and business cards. So let's you and I talk about design, but we'll plan to order, since we need both of those, and then stamps.
Sure.
Stamps.
Yeah, if we get a couple hundred would be great, or however, you know, we're not going to waste them, right?
No.
And of course, they're going to be the forever stamps. I just wanted to show you, this is how many brochures I have.
Oh, wow.
This is what I have left, so.
I've got a small stack too. That should get us through to our next fiscal year, and assuming we get funds, that's probably when we should do our next brochure order. And we'll want to talk about how we're going to redesign them and what the world looks like then, because a lot of that information is not valid while we're all stuck at home.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you, so Derek, you said you needed stamps. How many? So $200? How many did you?
Well, let's see. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Do you remember a ballpark on the magnets, Derek, by chance?
I can dig. Well, let's see here. It's I think I've got a bid estimate, I thought, not too long ago. I can dig it up. I just need a little time.
Okay.
I have a question for Derek.
Go ahead, Stephanie.
So Derek, on Zillow published number of homes sold in July, and I think it was something like 28, and yet it sounds like maybe that's just sold through Zillow, because I'm hearing you saying you sent out 60. 60s,
and so to let you know, I have Chicago Title is kind enough to pull these up, but it might have been for more than a 30-day period, because I deal with someone there, and sometimes it's kind of erratic, right? And so I'm thinking we might have missed a month. So
I see. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so if that's 2 months, then 1 month was 28. So 28 is almost 30 times 2 is 60. Oh, so it might be okay then. All right.
Right. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm trying to kind of figure out how much to allot for each thing.
Okay. Yeah, I'm multitasking here. Just trying to get into see if I can find something in my email here.
I wonder, do you want to, Chelsea, do you want to continue on with other things? And I can also look in the Google Drive and see if I have anything. And then
Yeah, let's loop back around to this and we can pull some numbers real fast. Or we can do a little more of a blanket vote where we vote to spend the amount on magnets, stamps, and business cards in whatever amount we can do for the 466. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, and I just found something for magnets. It looks like if we did, you know, 1,000, it'd be $202.
Okay. So if we do 1,000 magnets and $200 worth of stamps, and then we can kind of shore up the rest with some miscellaneous printing. Does that sound reasonable?
I think so. And this bid estimate was from February 4th of, I'm just trying to see when she sent this to me, but it was, I think it was February of this year. So.
We can fill out the rest with printing of the inserts, Derek.
Okay.
And Lynn, does all of that work for you?
Okay, so do you want to say 202 for magnets, 200 for stamps, and then the rest for business cards?
Let's do the rest for inserts, brochure inserts, because business cards I think will be a little bit more. But we could say brochure inserts and or business cards.
Okay, so I need to get just get an updated estimate for 1,000 of the magnets, and then how many of the business cards?
Will you have her do the 500 and the 1,000 estimate for us?
Okay, great. Okay.
All right.
But you said, oh, Chelsea, you said brochure inserts, not the business cards.
Either brochure inserts or business cards, depending on price.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sorry, I wasn't clear on that. Does that seem reasonable to everybody? All right. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and motion that we spend the 466 of our communications funds on the printing that we just discussed. Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, Lynn seconds. Any more discussion on the using of our printing funds? Okay, I'll go through the roll call. I see in the chat, Gail says aye, Tina says aye. Derek, you're next.
Aye.
Stephanie?
Aye.
Tina? Oh, Tina said aye, sorry. Sorry, losing track here. Lynn?
Aye.
And Pam?
Aye.
And I'm also aye. Motion passes, unanimous. You guys are great tonight. All right. Any questions on that before we move on, or anything else for treasurer report?
That's it.
All right. Yep. Thank you, Lynn. You are amazing. We love you. Okay. Pam has nothing to report from Southeast Uplift. Correct, Pam? Because they haven't had their meeting yet?
Correct. They don't meet in August.
Okay. So I left that in there because it was on the agenda. I wanted folks to know. Now we can circle back around to the e-recycling. And Tina was discussing earlier the risks and challenges of hosting it. And I think that I saw lots of nods from board members on postponing till it is safe to host. And I want to open that up for discussion if anybody really feels the need to hold this community collection e-recycling this fall, or if we can postpone it and support our neighbors with getting rid of their stuff next year or when it's safe.
Yeah, I'm for postponing it, Chelsea.
Okay. I see Gail says that Multnomah County is still iffy till November. Other board members and community members want to weigh in?
I agree with Tina that we should be cautious. She's done all this planning. That can be used just a few months into the future as well.
Okay. I see agreement from Shannon. Pam, Lynn votes to postpone. Pam.
Yeah, postpone.
Okay. Board members, is there anybody who actually wants to host it? Okay. So we'll go ahead and postpone that event until it is safe to host. I don't think that requires a vote since it doesn't involve money and events are kind of decided. Gail says, nope, no vote. So I'm going to go with her knowledge on that. Okay. Tina, we thank you for the amazing effort you've put into the cleanup, and we can't wait till we can actually host it. Have
Yes,
a
I
great
second that.
e-recycling. I'll
Thank
keep
you so
saving my
much,
batteries.
Tina.
All right. Anything else before I move on from this? All right, we are getting through. Any additional committee updates from anybody? Tina says the cleanup should be easy to do once it's safe, so that's good news. Okay, so I'll give, I just have one update for the communications and outreach. We are doing an August series of gorgeous gardens in Brentwood-Darlington. So I'm featuring, we started this week, just posted today, Terry Parkin, who lives in the Arrow Heights area. Pam was telling me about her lovely garden, and so she sent me some pictures, and you can take a look there. I have another gardener lined up for next week, and I'm gonna hopefully pull from the garden that Stephanie mentioned with, was it Kelly, I wanna say?
Yeah, Kelly Hunter, yeah.
So I'm hoping to feature her, and so if you have a beautiful garden, I'm talking to you, Shannon, or you know of a beautiful garden, let us know. And 3 to 5 pictures, a little paragraph on about your garden and how you want us to refer to you in the post by name. And so if you want to contribute, you can email us at brentwood.darlington@gmail.com or hit us on Facebook or any of the ways that we try to answer but don't always get to as quick as we should.
I'll send you some, Chelsea.
Thank you. I'm trying to plan a little more ahead, and that email address is there in the chat. Thank you, Maria. So also we are using some posts, so we're featuring some guest posts from the Facebook group People of Brentwood-Darlington. If you're not familiar with that one, they are doing a post of People of Brentwood-Darlington MVPs, and gave us permission to repost them on our website. So I'm posting those a week after they go live on the Facebook page so that we can also highlight not only the person or organization they're highlighting, but the group that is doing the work to highlight community members who are making a difference. So look for that feature as well. I think our first one goes live on Sunday or Monday. So just some fun things we're trying to keep up on the website. And if you have ideas for posts or you want to post something or add something, just let me know. Okay. Any other committee updates from board members? Questions from neighbors?
No updates.
All right. Board members, let's talk work plan, action streams, and BDNA bylaws. Are you ready for this?
No.
It's going to be a short one because it's more of a, we need to agree to tackle this and give ourselves a bit of a plan. Okay. Because we all know we need to do it, and we all want to do it, and we all want to have these discussions. And then we say that, and our month gets away from us, and we don't get any further. So I'd like to propose that we take this up as the topic at our next all committees meeting of forming, making sure that our work plan and our action streams, either updating and recycling the ones that we've been using or forming new ones, that we make sure we address the work plan and action streams, because especially the work plan is in our bylaws. So does anyone have a problem with focusing our next committee's meeting on that work?
No.
Okay. And at that time, we can do a discussion of the bylaws and make a plan along with a calendar up for if we are actually going to update them and bring them into being more in line with what our neighborhood needs and wants from the association.
Chelsea, I just have a quick question about the bylaws. Is there a reason why they're in two pieces, you know, the amendment and then the original bylaws? I mean, is it just a matter of doing word processing and merging the two into one document?
I honestly don't know because they were uploaded like that before me. And so I don't know why they're in two pieces, but it looks like Gail says it's a word. Is it really, Gail? It's just a word processing thing? We really need to update our bylaws and at least merge that piece. But as we know, our bylaws are really out of date and not as inclusive and easy to follow as they really should be.
So maybe this is for some historian, maybe Gail knows the answer to this, but the amendment, the document dated January 27th, 2013, says the proposed amendments to the bylaws will be voted on at the general meeting on February 6, 2013, but there's no document that I could see posted to our website that recorded the vote that they did pass the amendment at the February 6, 2013 board meeting.
There is one that has approved on it somewhere.
All right.
Our drive is, as with any multi-person volunteer thing, it's a little disorganized, but I will look for that because there is one somewhere that says approved.
Okay, the document on our website, Brentwood-Darlington.org.
Is it still the draft? Is it the draft and not the approved one? Okay, I'll look into that. Thank you. It's sometimes the website gets interesting things. And we can go through the bylaws at our committee's meeting and make sure that as we go through the process of updating them, that we're following the rules, because there's the like 30 or 60 days notice we have to do for different changes. So, and
yeah, I just reviewed that today. It didn't look too onerous.
Awesome. Okay, so community members, you are also welcome to join us there at our all committees on the third Tuesday of the month, which is August 18th, I want to say. If my calendar will pull up. Yes, August 18th. That will be 5 to 7 p.m. And you can email us for the link or join our new Facebook page and get the meeting information there. And we will discuss bylaws and our work plan and action streams. I see from Gail in the chat that we need to word process our bylaws again. Notice can be electronic, and we must have quorum to work on them. So, all right. So stay tuned for the exciting BDNA work plan action stream bylaws discussion happening on August 18th.
Okay, thank you, Chelsea.
All right. And I just, before we move on, I'll just leave this up for a second. This is our current action streams that we voted to use through 2020, since we were still working through some of them. So we can reuse a lot of this, I feel. I did notice in the chat from Gail the word on trunk or treat. I think that we're probably going to end up following Tina in that it will unlikely be safe to host it. But if for some reason we can host some sort of event for Halloween, I have a few ideas. So we can play that by ear as we get closer. Anything else on work plan and action streams?
Well, I just noticed under advocate at the bottom bullet, it says pressure precision cast parts to support Arrow Heights Park. It's probably broader than that. It's more air quality concerns. So I think we're in the midst of Arrow Heights Park planning at the time. So.
Yep. Yeah, this was right around the very beginning of that, I feel like. So these are definitely due for an update, and we need to get a new work plan going. So, or at least update our work plan. So, all right. And if we do revise the bylaws, Leah at Southeast Uplift suggested that we remove the work plan requirement from them, or at least make it less onerous of a task, because right now it's a yearly process. Okay. Anything else? This has been a fast meeting. I'm really thankful that everybody's been so participatory, and to all the neighbors that came. Anybody have anything else they'd like to talk about tonight?
I don't, but thanks for facilitating, Chelsea. It was a great meeting.
Yeah, great meeting, Chelsea. Thank you.
Well, you all helped make it that, and I'm really excited about how many neighbors joined us. And all right, so I will get this recording up on YouTube as soon as I can, and get that link to Laura Lee and send it out to the board.
And probably publish it too on the Facebook group, if that's okay.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm working on getting the other ones uploaded that are safe for public consumption. They're just scattered on different machines, and I'm trying to figure out where in the cloud they are. So.
Yeah, we don't have to go back. Don't worry about it too much.
All right.
Save the chat.
All right. I will go ahead and let everybody exit and try to figure out how to save the chat, or if Maria, if you can.
I'll stay on with you.
All right. You and I will figure out how to save the chat.
Yeah.
Okay. Good night, everyone.
Have a good night. Thanks everyone for coming.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Hey, Chelsea.
Oh.
I wanted to.
Yeah, I'm still here.
I wanted to ask a question. With taking minutes and having now people are doing Zoom, and we're going to put the meeting up on Facebook. Is that what Maria just said?
Yeah, it'll go on YouTube, and then we can link it around from there.
Do you know, I can ask Southeast Uplift this, but do you know if is there ever going to be a time where they replace documents for the video for minutes?
From what I've been told, not yet. We
Okay.
still have to at least have written notes somewhere for records.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Right there, you got it.
Well, I was like, well, I'm going to go watch it, but I feel like I'm being redundant here, typing out what's being said, but I get it. You know, public records are the way that they are. So
yep, we'll keep doing what we got. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye. Have a good night.
Bye.